Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Jabran here from Realco Capital. I hope you're doing well this afternoon. So in today's video, I want to talk to you about Arabian Ranches 3, right? That's an emerging real estate hotspot. The first handovers are going to start in early 2023. And so what we want to do in this video is not just talk about Ranches 3. I'm going to share some construction updates as well, some prices, some valuations, but we also want to look at what's going on in the broader area as well. So that's the idea for this video. If you are a townhouse buyer that's still in the market, or you've just recently purchased something in this cycle, and you want to understand what's going on a more broader or macro perspective, I hope this video will add some more value to you. Okay, so let's start off by looking at the broader area. So this over here is Arabian Ranches 3, okay? And what we've done here is we've marked out the phases that are going to hand over next year, which is Sun, Joy, and Spring. So everything that you see on this map, which is marked in orange, is going to hand over in 2023. So the other areas that you can see marked out in orange, again, that's handovers in 2023, is Cherrywoods. Okay, that's by Miras. It's very close to Mira Oasis. And then if we look to the right of Ranches 3, this area here is Villanova. So handovers have already started and they're going to continue, through 2023, 2024 and beyond. And then the other supply that's going to come in 2023 is the Elan Townhouses. So that's part of Tilal Ghaf. That's going to be the first enclaves of that community to be released. And then everything marked out in red, as you can see, is going to hand over from 2024 and beyond. So then you can see communities here in Ranches 3, and then we're going to have options coming up in Villanova, Mudon, Ranim, parts of the Damac Hills, and of course the biggest supply is coming up in the Damac Lagoons. It's been Dubai's best-selling project and it's offered a lot of value. And so when we're talking about Ranches 3 valuations in a bit, we'll actually compare prices in these areas later in this video. Look at Arabian Ranches 3, and so what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into the satellite imagery and look at the master plans imposed on it. And as you can see over here on your left is the areas of Sun, Joy, and Spring, right? So these are the three phases which will hand over in 2023. And then after that, you can see Ruba. Ruba is very similar to these other phases. And then in this last year and a half, what's launched has been in the central circle here, where you can see Bliss, which were townhouses, and then Caya, which were high-end and spacious villas. And then Saab was a more luxurious version of the Caya villas. And then the last thing to see here, which is recently launched in Ranches 3, was the June cluster. And these consisted of twin villas, 4 and 5 bedroom options. And they were actually, it's a very unique property type concept, and we've only seen that in a few other places in Dubai. So that is, the master plan of what's been launched. And if you look at the remaining land bank of Arabian Ranches 3, you can see it marked out here in red. So the vast majority of the community has been launched, and we are expecting another launch to happen in the next few weeks or months. For these kind of things, if you would be potentially interested in learning more in the future or being updated on what's going on in some of these communities, please do consider getting in touch with us or liking this video and subscribing to our channel. That really does help us as well. Okay, so let's take a little bit of a tour of the community. It is currently under construction. You cannot get in, right? But if you drive by the community, this is what you're going to see. And so this is the first phase of Sun, which is going to hand over in early 2023. And as you can tell, right, it's pretty much ready. And I'm sure that snagging notices are going to go out pretty soon. First, as you can see, within the same community, there's different architectural styles. So unlike a lot of the older communities like Springs and Reem and even Maple, right? And most townhouse communities of the Bay, everything looks exactly the same. There's just rows and rows of houses. Over here in Ranches 3, there is customization in each of these clusters. And so, for example, in Sun, when you were purchasing, you could have leaned towards one of these kind of options as a facade. And then there's just slight variations in the internal built-up areas. Again, all the middle houses are always 3 bedrooms, and then the corner houses are the 4-bedroom options. Then the other thing to note over here is they're very modern houses. So this is very similar to what they have built in Maple, which is Dubai's hottest, or which has been Dubai's hottest townhouse community. You can see the gap between the boundary and the actual highway. And then these houses are elevated. There's some beautiful landscaping work that's happening over here. And if you're comparing it to prime supply, there are improvements in the master plan which make these kind of communities even more livable. These are the townhouses of Spring, so you can see they have a different facade. Just like all the other communities in Spring as well, you got to choose from 2 options. And then this is Joy. Okay, and Joy is going to hand over after Sun, and as you can tell, it's also almost completed. And in Joy, there were actually 3 different facades that you could have chosen from. This is the main boulevard that's going to run through Arabian Ranches 3, right? So this is one of the main entrances. So now let's talk about valuations. Let's understand what kind of transaction values are going on, not just in Arabian Ranches 3, but in the neighboring communities as well, right? So this should be quite interesting. So let's start off with Ranches 3 that we've been discussing. And so if you're a buyer right now and you enter the market in Sun, 1.7 would be a pretty good deal right now. And then you can see the range over here. 4-bedroom townhouses are between 2.3 to 2.5 million. One of the advantages that these communities have, because they were launched in 2018 in different market conditions, they got a 3-year post-handover payment plan. So it's 40% post-handover. So if you're trying to manage cash flow and avoid a mortgage, then Sun would be a great option. And then if we look right next to Arabian Ranches 3, we can see Villanova. So this is also an area which is going to have a lot of activity. So parts of it started handing over already. And this is general valuations. You can buy 2, 3, and 4-bedroom townhouses here. They have cluster homes, slightly different variations and styles, but 2 bedrooms, 1.35 up to 1.45, 1.5 million. 3 bedrooms, 1.6 to 1.75 million. So there's value to be found in some of these clusters. And then 4 bedrooms are from 82 million. So a community like Villanova actually serves a part of the city which doesn't really have that many townhouses, right? So there are advantages and feasibilities of purchasing in different parts of the city. Now let's look at the valuations for some of the ready properties that we're seeing, right? So if we zoom here near Ranches 3 is, of course, Al Reem. Now Al Reem is a bellwether. It's been around since 2007, 2008. And currently 3-bedroom townhouses, there's 3 different types. These are spacious houses, and a lot of them have been modified as well. So over here we're seeing prices between 2.3 to 3.3 million and even higher. And if you look at Maple, this has been Dubai's hottest community by far over the past couple of years in terms of velocity of sales, and just raw demand. 3 bedrooms are between 2.9 to 3.1 million. And these are smaller units, right? So you're looking at around 2,100 square feet. It's not like you're getting huge built-up areas, but what you're getting is a very, very prime upscale address, which is modern and convenient. And then the other communities to look at as well is you can look at Arabella, which have 9 types of 3 bedrooms. In here you can see valuations between 1.8 to 2.4 million. If you bought from the developer, you've held on, you've earned a pretty good yield. And your capital has grown around 15 to 20%. The last couple of communities to point out in this vicinity is Elan. So Elan will definitely be a real estate hotspot. This is the first phase of Tilal Ghaf, which will hand over. So these houses were launched in 2019 before the pandemic. And as you can see right now, current transaction ranges 3 beds, 1.8 to 1.9 million. And there's a 40% post-handover payment plan as well. And right below Elan is the large master development of the Damac Lagoons. So the Damac Lagoons is major supply, and over here the main property type has been the 4-bedroom townhouses. Now the payment plans and the prices have slightly changed over the 5 phases, but currently this is the kind of price range in play: 1.75 to 1.9 million. 80% is payable over 3 years and 20% is payable on completion. So this will be a good number of townhouses that will start entering the market from 2025 onwards. But if you kind of understand that supply versus what we're seeing in Ranches 3, there are differences as well. And of course, if you'd like to kind of understand these things in more detail, please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. Okay, so now let's look at what a transaction looks like, right? Because you're buying off plan, there's a payment plan, from secondary market. So let's just break that down. So let's assume you're going to Sun right now, average selling price say 1.8 million, but your cash requirement right now is actually 1.37 million. So that includes your 6.5% closing costs. So currently the property is 55% paid, and you're paying the premium, because there's a difference between what the seller purchased her from the developer to what the selling price is right now. So you're paying 1.37 million right now, and then look at the remaining payment plan. You're paying 5% on completion, and then 5% every 5 months with a 10% payment 36 months after completion. So that's how your cash flow would work. So that's what a transaction looks like when you're purchasing from the secondary market. And if you want to buy something directly from the developer, and we're looking at the same area here, you'll be surprised to see that there's not that many options available directly from the developer. So I've just pointed out a few of the notable ones. And here you can see Ranim, which is a cluster in Mudon, and I'll talk about that more in a second. Then we've got Malta here. This is a cluster of the Damac Lagoons, which still has a few 4-bedroom and 5-bedroom townhouses available for sale. In Arabian Ranches 3, there is expected to be a launch in the next few weeks or months, and that's the same case for the Valley project, which is located over here along Elan Road. And then in the Damac Hills too, there are various clusters which have options available from prices ranging from 1.15 up to 1.5 million. So that's what the primary market looks like right now. So there are not that many options to actually pick from. My personal expectation is the number of off-plan launches is going to start slowing down. We've probably seen peak launches, and so there'll probably be a more stronger resale market as well, because there's still a lot of buyers in the market today. Okay, so the last slide for this video is showing this map, which is showing you this master plan, which is showing you the location of Ranim, which is kind of highlighted here in red. And so here you can buy these beautiful 3 and 4 bedroom townhouses. The sales are actually going to start next week. Registrations have started. The handover of these townhouses is going to be in 2025, towards the end of the year. So you're going to be paying 60% during the construction phase and 40% on handover. So these are some beautiful houses, and if you'd like to understand that in a bit more detail, please don't hesitate to reach us. We'd love to give you a bit of a feasibility